News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart.
The next hour brings entertainment and information for those of you who are young at heart. Here are your hosts, Lynn Peterson and Al Jones.
If you're young at heart.
Hi, folks. This is Young at Heart. And this is Jim Johnson.
Thank you for having me.
The co-host who is sitting in for Senora Lynn Johnson.
Yeah,
not
sure,
Lynn Johnson.
No,
sure.
did you guys get married?
Lynn
Peterson.
Don't get me in trouble at home.
Sniffing the leaves.
I don't.
Say,
it could be, yeah.
Good morning. Nice to have you here.
Nice
Jim,
to be here.
And so forth. You are definitely in Las Vegas with the
Springs Preserve.
Preserves.
Springs Preserve.
And that's not the preserves that you put away, folks, and you eat.
No.
This is a different preserve, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Springs Preserve, Al, is a birthplace of Las Vegas, what I like to call it, because that is a site where the water first flowed forth. And with water, we brought the animals. With animal came people. With people came civilization.
That's right.
So we have things out there like gardens, galleries, exhibits,
and things
special
like
events,
Yeah.
a great restaurant. There's so much to see and do out at the Springs Preserve.
And the people of Pahrump should visit the Springs Preserve.
They should visit. They should come out. It's just a short drive. You can come for a day. I mean, you could spend 2 or 3 days there. Or you can come out for an evening event. And it's all on our website at springspreserve.org. Or you can call up 702-822-7700.
Right.
One of those ways will get you all the information you need. Yeah.
Very good. Hey, listen, it's so chilly outside, so I was
It's a little chilly inside.
Well, yeah. What do you think about a little apple cider?
I think if you mix that with some port, I think off the clock, of course, you mix that with some port, you'll be doing well.
You think so?
I think you might have it in this little cooler that I see down there.
Oh.
I don't know if you want to chill the port, but whatever.
Whatever, do
if that's what makes you so happy and joyful, then
well, you see my smile and everything like that. That must mean something.
You were trying to rake the leaves back there.
No, you were trying to work the leaves back there. I saw that. He was trying to do that, rake the leaves.
Oh my God!
So forth like that. Hey, I understand you know about these things.
Oh, you're setting me up.
That's right.
Wow. Pregnancy, estrogen, and women.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the three.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Should a woman have a baby after 35?
I'm not touching that one.
No, 35 children is enough.
I can tell you all about the Springs Preserve, but I'm not going anywhere else.
You're scared.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's the lady. She said, "I'm 2 months pregnant now. When will my baby move? With any luck, right after he finishes college."
That's a drum roll for you.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. That's good stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any
kids? No.
No, I don't mean you have any kids. You don't jump. What am I going to do with you now? You keep doing that.
Any kids? I have jokes sometimes.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, but I would really have to make sure that the producer censored them. So I'm just gonna hold on to the joke.
So hold on to one. What was the one you had to tell me?
I don't want to mess it up because I don't remember exactly. Here's one for you. This is a kid-friendly joke. If you have grandkids, I think you can say this and get away with this. What's the difference between? You know what? Here's a better one. You hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No, I did not.
It's got good food but no atmosphere.
Ooh!
There you go. Wah, 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 wah. This is why when you invite me on to talk about things, I don't talk about jokes.
You don't talk about jokes.
Really not good at that.
What about the one about I have also been in doubt? That is a sad place to go, and I try not to visit there too often.
It's just really sad.
I know,
melancholy.
Yeah, melancholy. Hey,
yes, sir.
I have been in cahoots in many places, but I've never been in cahoots. Apparently, you can't go alone. You have to be in cahoots with someone.
There's a 2-person minimum.
Yeah.
To go to cahoots. Isn't that just down the road?
Yes, that's down the road.
I saw the signs driving in from the Springs.
You did? Did you see that down the road?
I did.
Yeah. Folks, we have a good show for you today. Guess who's going to be on the show today? Southwest Medical with American Lung Association. They're going to show you a lung.
I don't want to get up close
A good
to the
one
lungs again.
and one that's not so good, man.
Real ones.
I didn't know what
Real
was in
ones.
the Tupperware.
You didn't. Well,
And
we
I-
gave you gloves, man, to put on.
But that's because I'm messy. So you open it and it's, whoa, that's yikes. There's
That's yikes.
chocolate. They have chocolate lungs. I'd rather
That
have
chocolate,
those.
I'm going to have one of those, I
Yeah.
tell you, yeah.
Consistency.
And then we're going to have Miss Allison Newton-Moore, who's going to talk about that, and Mr. Adam Luckett. I think I have that. He's a PA and in cahoots there together with,
Oh, because the two. Wow.
and they're going to
On
talk
fire.
about this today.
Al is on fire.
On the new thing they have at Walmart. So they're
Yes.
going to
Is
talk
that the
about
cow
this.
milking machine?
Yeah, right. You know. Hey, we got to go to the break now. So listen, folks, stay tuned. We shall return after these messages. Me and Jim. Welcome to the show, folks. My first guest is Miss Allison Newton-Moore. Is that correct?
Almost correct. Allison Newland Moser.
Oh, what did I say? Moore?
Uh-huh.
Moser. Forgive me, forgive me, for I have forgotten something or goofed. Anyway, welcome, and then Mr. Adam Luckett, PA, with
Southwest Medical Associates.
Southwest Medical. So, and they're also, what's happening, the American Lung Association with Southwest Medical are putting on this about lungs. And I think that this is so beautiful. What is the kinds of things that we need to know about the lungs and the good one, the bad ones? Because I know you brought some here, and our good
We did.
buddy over here is Jim. He's kind of frightened of those.
Squeamish.
Swimmish of those.
We brought two different kinds, and you definitely want to have one and not the other.
Okay.
One is pink and one is black.
Ooh. The question I guess I would have with that is, how long does it take for one of those lungs to turn, black from
The one that I brought today is an adult male lung who has smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 15 years. And that lung is completely black except for the white part that is his cancerous tumor.
Ooh. Now, we're going to show those later, as we talk. We're going to put those in so that people can see those different lungs. But now, the idea, like I was telling everybody, telling you, I never smoked, in my life, so my lungs should be pretty good. But the only other thing is talking about the secondhand smoke.
Yes.
And if you talk about secondhand smoke, how long would it take for my lungs, my beautiful lungs, to turn?
Well, it's pretty scary. There's no safe level of breathing secondhand smoke. And if you are breathing secondhand smoke for 30 minutes, it's the same as smoking one cigarette yourself. So if you are a worker, which unfortunately in Nevada, the service industry is not protected by our clean indoor air laws. So say you're working an 8-hour shift, 40 hours a week, you're virtually the equivalent of a pack-a-day smoker if you're working in a smoky environment.
Wow. Gee, I never knew that. Because I know when I go by, say, the casino, and it one of the casino, the high ceiling, so it's not bad. But what I want, and this surprised me, that the smoke goes through my clothes. And I have to, when I go home, I have to take everything off.
We actually call that third-hand smoke.
Third hand.
And when you smell it in your clothes, your
Yeah.
hair, your drapes, your carpet, that's third-hand smoke.
Yeah. Well, one reason I don't have to worry about the hair.
Although you do have some on your chin.
I forgot about that. Oh, God. I have to take a little thing and then wipe it off. But this is so interesting, and these are things that I feel that people need to know. And now there's the other thing I want to get to, Adam, and then come back. We're talking about COPD, and you are
Absolutely.
a,
I'm a physician assistant with
Yes.
Southwest Medical Associates,
okay.
and I'm honored to be out here in Pahrump. We just opened a new clinic in the Walmart, conveniently, and it's called the Southwest Medical Associates Next Door Health, and we are there Monday through Saturday at this time from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening, and I think it's going to be very, very powerful to have a clinic here in the Walmart to provide access to those individuals who may want to stop in, during the course of their busy day. It's right on the beaten path there. So we're really proud to be linking up with the American Lung Association, and we want to make sure people understand that they can feel free to stop into our clinic at any time if they have questions, if they need testing. We are there and we're available.
What, something about your background, what caused you to get into this? Because I know you're a young man, and this is sort of good for people, especially youngsters, to say, hey, there are fields that a person can get into.
Absolutely. As a child, I always wanted to be in the medical field. Even I remember as I was in grade school, I was attending something called College for Kids, and I took a lot of classes involved in medicine. So medicine's always been a passion. I always want to help people, and I feel that in this community, especially, the access is going to be very powerful.
Wow, which is great. Tell us some of the things going to be going on there at the the area. Now, give us the address where this is going to be.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the main thing we want to talk about today is an event that we're putting on free to the residents of Pahrump. It's this Saturday, November 12th, from 8 until 1:30 p.m., and it's at the Nye Communities Coalition campus, which is the former Mance Elementary, and that is at 1020 East Wilson Road.
Okay.
And we want to invite everyone to come out. We're calling it the Healthy Lung Expo, and it's especially focused on providing information and education and resources for people who have COPD, which stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and their families, friends, caregivers, or if you think you might be developing a lung problem, come out and you'll be getting lots of good information and resources about that.
Do you find that a lot of people don't realize what smoke does to them?
Absolutely. I feel definitely. The problem with COPD is it's progressive in nature and it's destructive in nature. And the typical onset may not occur until 40s, 50s, 60s. You're really never safe from COPD. And I think the biggest issue with COPD is monitoring, screening, and early detection. Many people have smoked for 20 years and thankfully have stopped, but they're not in the clear. You really need to be checked. You need certain tests, and you need to follow up with your physician to be sure that there's no signs of COPD.
Wow. Because I tell you, I worked with a guy back in, when I was working television back in Chicago. He smoked, it's not going to bother me. Finally, later on in life, what happened to him, he had to have a, what do you call it, quadruple bypass from his smoking. Now, here's what I don't understand. He suddenly, when he found out he had that problem, he suddenly stopped just like that.
Stop smoking?
Stop smoking. So the question I have, can people stop if they, do they have to go through all of this before they stop? Because suddenly he stopped when he found out he had a problem. So if we educate people about the problem, do you think some of them may understand this and stop?
Well, certainly that's a big part of what our mission is at the American Lung Association, and we actually are out in the community of Pahrump working in the Pahrump High School with the kids, and we have a program out there called Tattoo, which is Teens Against Tobacco Use. And the teens at the school put on these skits and provide them to the elementary school kids to keep them off tobacco use.
Gee, I didn't know that. Now, see, I had no idea that this was going on out there. The American Lung Association was doing that. See, but I think that's a definitely a good idea. I don't see as many kids smoking as I usually. I see more adults smoking, still smoking.
Actually, most people start smoking by the age of 14.
Wow. See, now let me ask this question: why do people? You see them with the little oxygen tank and they're still smoking.
Yeah.
And they still have the problem.
I have that question myself.
Yeah. I mean, I see people still, with that. Now, that can still, what would that do if they on oxygen and they're still smoking? What will that do to their lungs, just if they keep smoking?
The damage will continue. It's the same analogy if you had a diabetic patient who's eating candy bars all day and then injecting himself with insulin. It's just absolutely contradictory. What we really want to focus on, I think people must understand, it's an addiction, obviously. Tobacco addiction is something that is not going to stop in a day, and you need access to care, to medical professionals, to social support groups that are going to help engage in a plan ultimately. And I think with Southwest Medical Associates being out here, with the access to care at the next door health clinic that we do offer, it's going to be easy to come in and get information and put together a treatment plan. You won't need to schedule appointments in advance. So sometimes I think it's ultimately when it's on your mind, when you're thinking about it. It's not when you're out smoking your one pack a day. It's when you just get news of a friend or family member has been infected with a serious terminal illness that's been related to tobacco. So I think really it's about staying on top of it, and you gotta want to quit. That's the most important thing.
Mention the open house too.
Absolutely.
After the expo.
As Allison mentioned, after the health expo over at 2210 East Calvada, Southwest Medical is going to offer a meet and greet at our new adult medicine clinic. We want to invite everybody to come on down. If you have any questions about COPD or any other medical issues, we'd be happy to get you linked up with our doctors, and we're going to have some food and beverage there as well. So come on down and meet and greet our doctors, and we'd like to welcome everybody to our new clinic.
That reminds me too, I know none of your viewers would be interested in anything that might be free, but I would like to mention that we're going to have a free continental breakfast and box lunch
Yes.
at the expo, and that's going to be provided by the folks at Desert View Regional Medical Center, and
Wow.
then free refreshments at the open house at Southwest Medical from 2 to 4. So you can be eating a lot on Saturday.
Well, I want to know is what time can I come for the breakfast?
Registration starts at 8, and we
Okay.
are asking people to call in and RSVP ahead of time so we make sure we have enough food. And
Okay.
I think you have an 800 number. It's actually the Southwest Medical Call
Right.
Center number.
Yeah.
And if they call in there and let us know they're coming, we'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
plenty of food there.
Yeah, we have a number 877-209-0494. That is 877-209-0494. And the that's a toll-free number, Southwest Medical Associate. They'll give you more information about this. This is so fantastic, and just what little time we have, there's so much more I know that people need to know.
We
And-
can come back.
Yes, you're going to
Let
have
us
to come
know.
back. Yes,
We'll come
from-
back anytime.
Yes, from the American Lung Association, that's what you are with, and
Yes.
that you go around and you tell people about the lungs and so forth.
And just in case all this talk of food has made you hungry,
Yes, I'm hungry.
I brought a little gift for you. It is
Oh.
our specially made and designed chocolate lungs.
Oh, my goodness.
Wrapped with a red ribbon to match your tie and your pocket
Yes,
square.
Yes. Well, listen, thanks again. I
Thanks so
appreciate
much for having
you
us out.
guys coming. We're going to have
Thank
you
you
come
so
back
much.
again. Yes, definitely. I will eat this later, folks. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, folks. We shall return after these messages. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show, folks. Your next guest is Captain Monica King. I don't know why I almost forgot your name. Doing. Sometime I do that. Of Salvation Army. Welcome to the show, Captain.
Thank you. Hi.
And I must say that you're here to talk about Thanksgiving and also a little bit about Christmas doings at the Salvation Army.
Yeah, Salvation Army, our busiest time of the year is coming up. The majority of what we do for the community happens at the holidays, and so this year, what we are doing for Thanksgiving is what we did last year. Is we're partnering with the Nye Community Coalition Holiday Task Force Community Thanksgiving Dinner. And we're partnering with them and helping to provide resources that we have available to us to meet some of the needs that they have for their program. That dinner is going to take place on Thanksgiving Day from 1 to 3 o'clock at the Nye Community Coalition campus, which is formerly the old Mance Elementary School. They're looking for volunteers to help in every capacity you could think of, whether it's for serving, hosting. We need cleanup and setup people. We need volunteers for donations. We need monetary donations. We need donations of food items. A lot of different businesses in town are providing the cooked food. We are requesting that people not bring us food cooked from home because of health food or health code things with the health department. So we're asking for non-perishable food items, canned food items, frozen pies, frozen turkeys, that kind of thing. And those can be donated directly to the Nye Community Coalition office, which is again at the former Mance Elementary School. They can also be taken to the Homestead Cafe or even brought to the Salvation Army, and we'll make sure that they get them. But that's what we're doing for Thanksgiving. Because resources are limited in the community, everybody's feeling the hit of the economy, and we're not immune to that.
Right.
So we thought the best way we could utilize our resources is to partner with the other agencies in town and do the most good with what we have.
Right. Give them the telephone number that they could call to.
The Salvation Army is 751-6171, and if they contact me, I can get them to the appropriate individuals for the various. We have lots of volunteers that's part of this committee, this task force. Linda DeMayo is helping to organize volunteers for delivering meals to the homebound on Thanksgiving. We have We have pastors from churches who are helping to organize transportation for handicapped individuals, and we also have individuals that are picking up families that need rides. So, and I have phone numbers for all of those. If they call me at that number, 751-6171, I will route them to the appropriate individual. This is a community Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody in the community is welcome to attend. You don't need to be low income. You can just be a member of the community.
That's right.
Now you were talking about the donation items and what you're looking for from people. You said steer away from the cooked food, but what items do you find every year you get a little bit too much of, and what do you not get enough of? So,
well, I'll tell you what. After doing many years of this, there's really no such thing as getting too much of any one item, because what we don't use immediately for Thanksgiving can always be used for Christmas, because there will be, Christmas is right after Thanksgiving, as we all know, it comes up every year. And then it even goes into food boxes throughout the year. We, in the Salvation Army, when we do our Christmas food box, we try to provide the basic staples for a holiday meal. But we also try to add extra food, because there's that time between Christmas and New Year where kids are out of school and families are all home. And we try to provide an extra to get them kind of through that week, through the holiday, through the New Year. And so really, I don't know that there is such thing as too much of any one thing.
Maybe something that people don't like as much.
Well, what I'll tell you is my experience is out of the kindness of their hearts, people will often go through the cabinet and kind of clean out. They'll do like I haven't eaten this or whatever. And we've gotten some expired foods that we don't like to give out because you just don't know. And then sometimes we get really odd things. I remember one year I had 1 can of smoked oysters. It's a very, very unique flavor profile.
Sorry about that, Captain.
I was in another state. It's a very unique profile that you just don't know who to give those smoked oysters to, because I know in our family...
The producer will take them.
I know in our family we wouldn't necessarily use those. Other people would, but I do like to ask that people try to keep to the traditional. When you think of the holidays, the stuffing, the potatoes, the yams, corn and green beans, and the very traditional Thanksgiving and Christmas items. We can absolutely and will use anything that they bring us.
Now I know we're going toward Christmas. It's around the corner and everything. So let's talk about a little bit about the kettle drive and the volunteers you need for those. We might as well start early on those, and
absolutely,
and the volunteers that can come and work, with you at this time.
Absolutely. In the Salvation Army, we rely 100% on all of everything we do for the community is because of the generosity of the community. And one of our biggest fundraiser, it is our biggest fundraiser of the year, is our Red Kettle campaign. We have approximately 30 days each year to raise the majority of our money that we use not only at the holidays, but then throughout the rest of the year to assist the community with emergency food boxes and other programs that we provide. We have programs for children, and we need to fund those programs. And so that's what the Red Kettle campaign does. It is our number one fundraising source. And we are always looking for volunteers to help us ring bells at Christmas time.
Also, along with this, before it leaves my brain here, is that Toys for Tots and the people, how early they need to sign up for these, for that particular program.
Right. We do Salvation Army does the Angel Tree program, and we are currently accepting applications at our social service office, which is at 240 Dahlia Street, next door to our thrift store, right behind Walmart. We are accepting applications through the 18th, so they have 2 weeks from today, essentially, to come down and apply. For every family that qualifies, we're using the same income guidelines as the school uses for free and reduced lunches. So if a family qualifies for free or reduced lunch and they know they'll qualify for our program, what we provide is, like I mentioned before, that food box for the size of the family. It's not a one-size-fits-all. We estimate the size of the family, or we take the size of the family, and then they will get a food box or 2 or 3 or 4, depending on the size of their family. That will be the staples for a holiday meal. And then they will get either a turkey, those are donated, so when those run out, we provide them with a gift card that they can take to Walmart to purchase a turkey or a ham or whatever they would like. But they'll have enough for the whole family for the holiday meal. And then, like I said, a little extra to last them throughout that week between Christmas and New Year. And then every child in the family, 12 and under, will receive gifts from us. And again, we rely on the generosity of the community for that. We have angel trees put up throughout the community. Walmart is very gracious every year and has 2 trees put up for us where people can go, as they walk into the store, they see them right there. They can pull a tag off the tree and they can shop right while they're there. And then they can even leave the toys there at Walmart, and we pick them up daily. So we receive the toys that way. But we also ask churches, other organizations, businesses, individual families, school groups, scouting groups, anybody that would like to participate in the Angel Tree program can contact us. What we do is they say, we'd like, 20 tags for our group, and then they'll pass those out to their group members. They'll shop, they'll bring them back, or some businesses will put up a little tree right in their lobby at their counter, or however you want to do it. A lot of businesses in the town have helped us in the past. We have not been successful this year in getting as many commitments as of yet, but we have begun the application process, so we're trying to get those commitments from the sponsors now. But that's one way people can help, is to host an Angel Tree toy drive, and it can even be families. I've had families call me and say, my children are grown and our grandchildren are grown, so we want 20 tags, and everybody in the family is going to go out and buy something and bring it back, and it's always a really neat thing to do, and people find it very rewarding.
Now let me jump in and ask this question, because as you're saying this, light bulb went off in my head. Okay, so you've got these tentpole events where you get the majority of the funding that carries you through the year.
Sure.
And people feel charitable during the holidays, but
Absolutely.
let's say during the rest of the year, maybe we got people that are going out of town, aren't going to be here to be able to volunteer at this time, or they want to give a monetary donation some other time of the year. How can they do that?
Well, anytime they can contact our office, again, at that same number, 751-6171, and we can certainly talk to them about the different programs we have. Every penny that comes in is used for the purpose that it is intended. So if they want it to go to help buy food for our Friday night youth programs, because we provide free dinner for all the kids that come, that money will go specifically to that cause. If they want to help, give us money to help buy food for the social service office, or craft supplies, or coats for kids, whatever it is, that money is designated and it goes to that cause. So we would be happy to talk to them about where their dollar could possibly help.
Yeah. I want to thank you. I've cut you off right there, but it was time for. But anyway, 751-6171, Salvation Army, help them, definitely. Thanks a lot for coming in,
Thanks,
Captain.
Sal.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Stay tuned, folks. We shall return after these messages. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show, folks. Our next guest is Dr. Leaks, Dr. George Leaks of his optometry in his office over there on Calvada. Welcome, Doctor, once again. We're always happy to see you.
Thank you.
And my co-host here, Mr. Johnson,
Yes, sir.
he has questions for you.
Yeah, I have
Excellent.
lots of questions. I'm going
Okay.
through a whole eye saga, so let me ask you:
Okay.
when do you know what is an age where you should start going and getting an annual checkup? That'd be the first question I have for you.
Well, we're capable of examining a child from about age 6 months, and certainly if you expect a problem, that would be the appropriate time to come in. But usually 2 years to 3 years is a good time, and certainly before first grade, for sure before first grade.
Okay, so the younger kids, and because I remember oftentimes you get those back in grade school, you get the eye test, they do the check.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so you're getting up my age, getting ready to turn 40 here. Do I need to start to come in every year? Because the TV seems to be moving further and further away from me at home.
Yes.
And I don't think
yes.
that's really happening. So what do you do when you're getting up to that middle age there?
What I tell people is during the formative years, that'll be like first grade through high school, probably every year, because those are the years that we expect the eyes to change quite a bit. But once you reach the early 20s, mid-20s, we will start having you come every 2 years. And then when you reach your age, about 40,
Right.
45, and for sure by the time you're 50 years old, you should start coming once a year again, because that's when a lot of the changes or diseases start to creep in. So we want to catch them before they get too far.
The other thing that you probably need to know, Monsieur Johnson,
Yes,
is
sir.
about when glaucoma starts. He can tell you something about that.
Have some people in the family with that. So is there a greater increase? Is hereditary involved in glaucoma and those
Definitely.
sort of things?
Yes, we know it's a family disease, and if you have it in the family, that's one additional risk factor for you. So you should come in and at least get that once a year if you have it in the family. And because we know that the sooner we find out about it, the easier it is to treat, and the more of your vision we can save.
Can you detect it? Is it like pre-glaucoma? Can you see the signals that you might be heading down that route and do some preventative things or some things to stave it off a little bit?
Unfortunately, no. Glaucoma is one of the many eye diseases that you have no signs or symptoms from. It just starts to take your vision, and before you know it, if you don't go and have it checked, you will have lost a significant portion. By the time you know that you've lost it,
Right.
you've lost a significant portion of it.
He has a machinery that also tests your eyes, and I forgot what you call it, Doc, but usually when I go in, I have them do that.
Right.
And they check to make sure that everything in the eyeball behind that is okay.
Right. Well, I think probably it is because you're always dressed so sharp, so you're able to look in the mirror
Yeah.
and see what's going on there. You look good.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
I agree. Yes.
He was a comedian also.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
But what do we call that? That usually when I come in and
We have a screening fundus photograph, and I also do a screening OCT. The OCT is a scan that we do of the eye to make sure you don't have any problems with macular degeneration, make sure you don't have any problems with any other kinds of retina detachment or anything like that. The photo will allow me to take a good look at it, and I can spend some time without keeping the light in your eye so long. So we take the photo, and then I can go back and look at it. The camera also has several different views. Although we take the picture once, it can give us different color, contrast, and things like that. So that's a good one to take also.
that's what you need, Jim.
I need to get that done. Well,
You need to get that done.
I've been getting the annual checkups, but I go in and you put me in the whole thing and you say, better now or better now, better now or better now, and it's not better either way. So they send me out of there with no prescription each time. But then when I get home and I put the Netflix on, I put the TV on, I have to get up out of the chair and walk over to the screen and what's the name of that movie I'm gonna hit?
Wow,
So
yeah.
something's off, but apparently it's not enough. Am I in that in between zone where I'm not enough for prescription yet?
Well, a lot of times we can detect it, even if it's just a little bit. A lot of times, though, we are reluctant to give you a very low prescription. A quarter, a half, either.
And why is that? Why would you be reluctant to just give me just a little one there?
Well, because sometimes if you go to a different location the next time, and if another doctor examines you, sometimes the technicians or even the doctor will say, well, where did you get these from? Because they don't have any power in them. And it makes it seem like we've just sold you a pair of glasses.
Right,
We don't
right.
have to do that. I don't have any problems with it because I tell you right in the chair that this isn't very strong. It's, it should make things that you're having problems with better, but it's not a very strong prescription. And that way, if that happens, then you'll know I told you up front. But sometimes that's the main reason.
Okay.
We just don't want to put you in an expensive pair of glasses that you get home. You say, well, it makes just this television, the crawl and television a little bit better, but it doesn't help me for anything else. And
So it's not worth
right,
doing it for
that's
that.
right, exactly.
But
We're mindful of that.
Is it and you're I'm out at the store and I go to the big box stores and I see every week these big packets of eye vitamins. Is that something that's worth investing in? What would you tell people if you want to be preemptive and try to stave off some of these things? What can you do?
That's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked me because we believe in nutrition. Nutrition is very important for the entire body, but especially the eyes. And you cannot get all of the nutrition you need from the food. So definitely eye-specific vitamins are very important, especially as we grow older. And reach the age where macular degeneration is a concern, and that is 55 or beyond. It is one of the leading causes of blindness, and a lot of it can be prevented with proper nutrition. So definitely, but I have to tell you that all vitamins and all eye-specific vitamins are not created equal.
Okay.
So you have to get them from a source that you trust, and a lot of times your eye care professionals will tell you which one, or you can just go online and read some of those different agencies that test things like that.
Right.
Yeah. But I recommend eye vitamins all the time. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That was a good question. Supplements and so forth for the body and everything. Now, like we talked before, Doc, as you mature and get older, which, like I said myself,
Very mature.
Yeah, very mature. Sure, yeah. As you get older, the kinds of things that I would need, to check to make sure. And I think we did this last time I was there, is that checking the back of the eye to make sure there wasn't anything back there.
That's right. That's right. So, one of the things.
What I'm talking about.
Something back there. There's something back there.
Yeah,
He knows what I'm talking about, Doc.
Well, when we do a comprehensive exam, and I think when you make an appointment or plan to come in for a comprehensive exam, you expect to be dilated. So we put the drops in, open your pupil up, and make sure we get a view of the entire retina, or as much as we can. When we view the retina undilated, we're only seeing about 40%, 30 to 40%. And when we do the dilation, we can see 75 or 80% of it. And with a special tool, we call it scleral depression, we can see almost 100% of it. But we can only do that if you're dilated. So if you're coming in for the first time, if you come into our office for the first time, expect to be dilated. If you have some health care issues like diabetes, or you're having trouble with hypertension or any of those things, expect to be dilated, because we can really take a look back there and make sure nothing's going on inside of your eye.
So remember, Jim, when you first go in the first time, have your eyes dilated so we can see what's going on back there.
There's a lot of cobwebs back there.
That's true.
No, I'm sure you'll check me out and see.
Oh, yeah. This is good.
I expect to be dilated.
Yeah, you expect to be dilated. See, because you halfway from where I am. See, and,
That's right.
And see, I've been wearing glasses since I was a kid, but hey, I can still see.
Looks good, too.
Yeah,
Both of you,
looks good,
gentlemen.
too.
Looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So give us your telephone number again there, Doc.
The telephone number to the office is 775-727-8300.
All right, Dr. Leaks. Stay tuned, folks. We shall return after these messages. Thanks again. Messages.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back, Al. The host had to run off to the doctor's. He's run off through the forest. He's going to be raking some leaves. But you know what? I'm sitting here all alone, and I'm hungry. And I think this would be a great opportunity to head down to Florida with our favorite cowboy chef to look at some of the great delicacies that he turns into cowboy cooking. Let's take a look.
Howdy y'all, Ron Locke here with the Chuck Wagon Cowboy Show. And on today's episode, I'm going to do an intro for you. We have a two-parter coming up. Now, I know you hate two-parters, and it's not the best thing to do, but what we're doing for you is something real special. It's something that is an old recipe that I got introduced to a few years ago by a coworker. But I'm going to explain all that in the show. This is an old show. This is one of our first shows. We've been doing shows now it's going on over 6 months. We did our first one in the middle of May. So we're on episode 21 right now, and kind of learned a little bit along the way, kind of have been tooling the show a little bit, making it a little more tighter for y'all. This is actually one of the very first shows that we filmed. And we don't put these necessarily in order. A lot of times it just depends on holidays or a particular meal. I try to shake it up a little bit, so I do a little cooking, a little bit of desserting, a little bit of barbecuing, so I'm not throwing everything together. Well, anyway, what we're doing here is a bread episode, and we'll get into that once we roll the opening shot. But, and that is something you're going to notice. When we were doing our early shows, probably the first 3 or 4, I like to use the word a lot. and it's been pointed out to me by a few of y'all, and I've been working real hard at it over the last few shows that we've done, and you'll see that it gets better and better because we have a lot more that's coming up before we get into season 2 next year. But at any rate, this episode, I want you to go ahead. You can have a little fun with it. Now, this is a really good episode. This is a really good show, and I don't want to take away from it by making it kind of humorous, but listen to how many times I say the word Okay, and I want you to come back on the comments, and I want you to give me your number, all right? I want to see, I don't have a contest for you. I should have thought about doing that. Maybe I'll give somebody one of my books when they come out here in the next month or so. But give me your guess on how many ums I have. Go through and count them. It's pretty funny. I was doing the editing for it this weekend, and it was interesting. Y'all could probably get a few people to make a game out of it. You know how they have them games where people say a word and you go ahead and take a turn at doing something? You could probably use this episode as that kind of a game. Call it the game, all right? So, all right. Well, this is the intro for my Amish bread, part 1, and I hope y'all like it as much as I did when I did it, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, let's go with the rolling of the beginning episode right now. Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Chuck Wagon Cowboy Show. Ron Locke here. And on today's episode, we're going to do a 2-part special on Amish friendship bread. That's what we're going to be making in this 2-part episode. The first part is going to be talking a little bit about the history of the bread and the starter that you start with for the actual bread itself, the mixture. And then in the second part, we're actually going to go ahead and once we've got our starter made up and split up, we're going to go ahead and take the remaining part of the mixture and make our actual bread out of that. So that'll be in part 2. But for the first part, let's start by talking a little bit about Amish friendship bread. Now, I was a little curious to know where the history of that bread came from. I really never know. I mean, one would assume that an Amish friendship bread would come from the Amish, right? So I went to our good friends at Wikipedia and just thought I'd take a look, because I couldn't really find any other place that even touched on it as far as the history goes. And from what I was reading, first of all, they're saying it didn't even come from the Amish. They can't really trace where this bread came from, but I guess the reason they've kind of attached it to the Amish is because I guess the Amish community had made this friendship bread and kind of gave it to the sick and needy, passed it around their community, so I guess that's kind of how it got attached. But y'all can go, if you really want to know the whole history of it, y'all can go to Wikipedia and they go more into the whole background of it and such. But I was just kind of curious to see that it hadn't actually come from the Amish, and so, you know, it's kind of funny that they still call it Amish friendship bread. So, at any rate, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to first talk about how this whole thing is and how this starts. It starts with what they call a starter. And a starter is basically made from a baker's yeast, some milk, some flour, and some sugar. And it's about a 20-day process. There's recipes online. I'm not going to go into making the starter here today, but that's pretty much all it is. And it's about a 20-day process, and once you get your starter done, what you do is you end up having it in a Ziploc bag similar to this. This is your starter right here. And I got my starter from a girl that I used to work with. And I walked into the office one day, sat down by my cubicle, and I found this bag sitting with this note, and it was a recipe for this Amish friendship bread, and this bag of this cream-colored stuff in it. And so, of course, being curious as I was like, what is this? And so she told me the whole story about how people make this up, and they have starters, and they give it to friends and stuff, and then it's kind of a pay it forward type thing, if you will. So, but basically, the starter, once you're given the starter from somebody, you have to start right away. It's a 10-day process, okay? So, the person gives the starter to you, that's day 1. So, on days 1, 2, and 3, and 4, what you have to basically do is you leave it on your counter, someplace out You don't want to put it in the refrigerator or anything, someplace out, and you basically take the bottom of it and either knead it, or you kind of roll it, or mix it up, just kind of bunch it up just to get the yeast activation going. It needs to stay alive every day. So you spend maybe 2-3 minutes doing that. Now don't get all freaked out if you start noticing that the bag will expand the next day. What you can easily do is just open up the zipper lock bag, decompress the air out of there, the gases that form from the yeast, and zip it back up again, and you're as right as rain. You're good to go for the next day. So that's what we do. So that's one day. It's on days 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now on day 5, what you got to do is you got to go ahead and get yourself 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of flour. It's real simple. Remember that. And you're going to go ahead and just throw that all into the bag. And you're going to mix it up all real good and get it all nice and mushed up and knead that bag. Okay? And again, you're going to do that for days 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So from 5 to 9, from days 5 to 9, you're going to just complete the same process that you did on days 1 through 4. And again, you're going to find this thing is going to really get gassy, and it's going to get big. Don't worry, the Ziplocs and bags are not going to pop open and explode and all this stuff's not going to come out or anything, but you just want to make sure you get the air out of there if it does, and that's perfectly fine. So the smell of it, I've heard people say it smells like all different kinds of things, soury, sweet, because there's sugar in there. I think it kind of smells something like a beer yeast. If you've ever smelled that before, that's what it smells like to me. So anyway, so we get to day 10, and that's our final day. And day 10 is actually today for me, for this bag. So what we're going to do for this segment is I'm going to show you how you're going to take your starter and you're going to make 4 new starters out of it. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to give 3 of them to your friends, or you can freeze them, and then keep 1 for yourself for if you want to start the next day 10-day process after you've made your breads. Or again, you can freeze that 4th one too if you want for future baking purposes or needs when you want to make some more Amish bread. So the thing on freezing though is you can only probably save it for about 3 to 4 months. So figure in maybe you can do 1 a month if you want to. When you get toward the holidays, they make good holiday gifts. You could make up a whole batch at that point. But like I said, after about 4 months, you really kind of want to chuck them up because they probably aren't going to be that good after that, because the activation of the yeast and such kind of wears off after a period of time. So, all right, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and make this now. First thing you want to do, and then I will tell you that this mixture is really sticky and goopy. So try not to get it on your hands or anything because it's really sticky. So you want to open your bag like so. And I always try to use like a funnel system here, so I don't plop it in, I just try to pour it in like this. So you're going to see what I'm trying to do here, like that. It almost reminds me of like pancake batter in a way, kind of a thin pancake batter. But you can see, as we continue to pour this in, and try to get as much of it as you can, that it has a real kind of a milky, creamy consistency to it, okay? Like that. Well, that's good. That's pretty good. All right, just get your little excess off of there. And what we're going to do then, you want to go ahead and get yourself 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, and 1.5 cups of milk. And we're just going to go ahead and pour this into the bowl. Okay, there's no rocket science way of doing this again. Okay, and what we're going to do, obviously, once I get all this in here, is mix it up. All right? And that just takes a minute or 2 here. All right, so now we got flour, sugar, and milk into our bowl. We're going to just go ahead, take my trusty wooden spoon here, and mix this all up. Just going to take a second or 2 here. Now, you're going to see on Amish breads that it really is a kind of neat, kind of pay it forward thing. If you kind of want to do something cool for somebody to get them interested in baking, actually, this is a good thing you can even do for like teenagers and such. If you've got your kids, or if there's a neighbor down the street, or a family friend, or a coworker's friend, or something, for the kids, this is a really good thing to get involved with because this is a very fun thing to get your hands into. And you'll see in part 2 when we start making our bread that it gets really fun. There, you have a good time with it. So we're just mixing this all up here. You know, the flour, don't worry so much about the flour. It's going to be a little bit lumpy because what's going to happen is, this, like I said, this is just really the starter. And once the liquids kind of get into the flour pieces here, it will all congeal together. So we're going to try to mix it up as best as we can, but we're obviously on a little bit of a time constituency here. So, all right, well, that's good for right now. That'll be fine, okay? So we'll go ahead and get this over here. Now, what we want to do is you want to go ahead and divvy this up in 1 cup segments for your plastic bag. So you go ahead and get yourself a Ziploc plastic bag like I have here, and we're just going to do 1 for right now because, like I said, we're kind of on a time constraint here with YouTube. So we're going to take ourselves 1 cup of the mixture. You want to get it as close to this bowl as you can, because again, I said it's very sticky and it's messy. If you get it on the counter or wherever you do it, it is a little messy. So you can see we're just going to go ahead and pull that into the bag right here. We're going to get it. Try to keep it away from the Ziploc bag there. Okay. That thing wants to come right out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. Now, what you do then, real simple, you're just going to go ahead, see I'm already getting stuff on the counter. You go ahead, you're just going to take your bag and just zip it up like this. It'll all settle in, not to worry. If you get a little bit on the Ziploc thing, you can always wipe it off too, but it's fine this way as long as it locks in. Okay, there we go. All right, and that's it. See, you only get about, probably about 1 inch on the bottom. That's your starter right there. Now I say you can go ahead and freeze that if you want, up to about 4 months, or if you want to start the next 10-day cycle, you know, you're good to go. You know, later in the evening, you just go ahead and start scrunching it up. You'll see these little flour pellets here will all absorb within probably a couple hours or so. Especially by the morning, you'll be fine. So again, don't be too concerned about that. If you see some flour pellets in there, that's all fine. So we're going to go ahead and set that over here. But that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's going to be it for our first segment here. On the second segment, we're going to go ahead again, like I said, and actually we're going to take this here, obviously divvy up 3 more. What you'll have is your starter for the actual 2 cakes that we're going to make, the 2 breads that we're going to make from the Amish friendship bread. So that will be what we'll be left with at the beginning of our second segment of this particular episode. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Don't forget to look me up on Facebook. That's Ron Lock, R-O-N-L-O-C-K with an E. And for the Chuck Wagon Cowboy Show, this is Ron Lock speaking, saying good eating and happy trails.
That was great. Some good ideas for cowboy cooking that we can all try at home. And I know I'm going to go home and whip something up, some vittles soon. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. I'm feeling a little bit alone since Al had to run off here today. But we've had a great show. Lots of people on the show that really kind of helped to add to, things that we can do right here locally to improve our lives, have a better quality of life, and stay young at heart. I'd like to thank the folks from the Salvation Army that came out and spoke to us about the donations that they need and the important drives that they have coming up. Also, our friends from the Lung Association and Southwest Medical, who are partnering up to really make sure that we live the best life we can and have great quality of life. And I still can't get the image of those lungs that they brought in out of my head. The black lung and the nice, clean, healthy lung. And I tell you, that will be the last time when someone ever walks in someplace with Tupperware. I won't just open the Tupperware and look inside. You never know what you might find here on the show. So that, and of course, Dr. Leaks, who came out and talked about eye care and all the ways that you can live a healthy and productive life and be good to yourself and be good to your eyes. Coming up next week on the show, Southwest Medical, we're going to have Dr. Scalaris. He'll be out here talking about different vascular issues, and it's important. Heart care is just as important as the eyes and the lungs, so he'll be on board to talk about that. Of course, we're going to have another visit from our friend Dr. Leaks, who will be talking about eye care. Also, Al, we're going to let him out into the kitchen at Denny's to work on cooking, so that'll be interesting. I'm not sure if Al's going to wear an apron, and I'm getting the nod that Al's going to wear an apron and actually do some of the good cooking. So you know what? You just save up all your tip money and go in there and make sure you take good care of Al when he's out at Denny's serving up some great food. Is Al going to be out in the middle of the night, 24 hours, because it's Denny's? Or
I don't know.
We don't know when Al will be out, but and Al, we're going to surprise you, Al, if you're watching yourself at home. On today's segment, it's midnight. We need you there at midnight, Al, at Denny's for the segment. So please bring your own hairnet and make sure that you do that. And, a little shameless plug, I'd like to invite you to come back on out also to the Springs Preserve and check out all there is to offer there. So there's so much to see and do. Thank you, everyone, for coming on today. Thank you to Al for having me out to join him as a co-host. I'm getting the stretch sign. I'm not used to doing this on my own, so thanks. Thanks for watching, and I hope you bundle up and stay warm out there. The weather is turning chilly finally, so maybe that's a good idea for you to remind and go get those health checks that we were talking about today, and make those donations for the holiday to the Lung Association and everything that's going on. Thanks, folks. See you next time.
Next week for another entertaining and informative hour of Young at Heart. Have a good day.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if